Katie Carter. So when we're young, sometimes the true meaning of friendship slips by unnoticed. Thinking back to the time when I first met Katie and Bob Carter, I remember that I was only a teenager, just married to the son of their best friends. It was years before I realized how much they were to mean to me and the influence they would have on my life. Katie and Bob were a phenomenal couple, brought together by my parent-in-laws over 50 years ago. I can't read. Bob grew up in the same neighborhood as my mother-in-law, Margaret. Bob and Russ, my father-in-law, became fast friends in high school. We have pictures of them clowning into the camera as teenagers, with big toothy grins, wearing Argyle sweaters and knickers. I sometimes see a glimpse of those smiles in my own sons. Bob and Katie were blessed with a beautiful daughter, Molly. Molly was bright and witty and a true joy. Russ and Margaret had two boys, both older than Molly. This little girl was a welcome addition to the couple's Saturday night get-togethers. Several years later, Katie was pregnant again with Billy. He was born with brain damage. Billy never attained a mental age of more than 7. He suffered from seizures and cerebral palsy. There were times that it was difficult for Katie to handle Bill herself. During the 1950s, there was no public school options for young children with learning differences. Katie spearheaded a campaign to build a real school for Billy. She traveled to New York to appeal to the public. She was interviewed on the Heartline television show that was popular in the 1950s. With a lot of community support and private donations, the Starlight School for Exceptional Children was established in North Ohio. One would assume that busy people like Katie and Bob would be caught up in their own world and not have a lot of time to spread around to friends and community, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. True, Bob's interests centered around his work, his lodge, and of course his wife and family, but he took time out to become a special friend to me and to my children. Katie, even today, spreads cheer and joy all over the community. I remember looking out on my porch on summer mornings and finding vegetables that she had left. We were probably still asleep as she strode by to take Bob to work in the mornings. She supplied my last child, the one we call Nat Bob, because Bob remarked it's not to you, but he's Bob to me.
That's right.
She supplied him with disposable diapers for his entire first year of life. Priority to Katie means making sure she is at the nursing home, really many different nursing homes, in time to feed special patients or trim someone's toenails because the nurses don't have time. It means giving a piano lesson to the neighbor's children because she knows they can't afford to do it elsewhere. It means playing the organ at a local church or visiting an old friend to help them through a lonely day. One of the biggest worries in Katie's life was what would become of Bill when she was gone. I always wanted to say to her, "It's okay. We will make sure he's all right." But I never had the courage to talk to her about it. But as Katie would often say, let go and let God. One beautiful morning, while Bill was in his special chair at breakfast, Katie said, he looked up, he smiled, and he slipped away into eternity. The doctor said he wouldn't live to be 8, but as I recall, Billy was 36 years old when he passed, a tribute to the loving care his mother always provided. When my mother-in-law, Margaret, suffered a stroke that left her unable to speak and very limited use of her right side, Margaret was determined to live in her own home. We arranged Meals on Wheels, a housekeeper to do weekly chores, and I spent every Saturday in Newark doing shopping and meal prep for the week. Katie kept Fridays open for Maggie. She would pick her up, she would take her to the beauty shop, and have lunch with her old friend. After all, she did introduce me to Bobby, she would say. One Friday evening, Katie called me. She said, Maggie is not as perky as usual. Katie thought she may be experiencing some little strokes. First thing in the morning, I went to Newark. Sure enough, Maggie had another major stroke. In the hospital, after she stabilized, it became apparent that Maggie wasn't in intimate danger of death, but severe damage had been done to her brain. Her young doctor didn't feel she would ever recover from this state of subconsciousness. Katie was there every day, feeding, washing, cooing, tending. Even when I was unable to be there because of family commitments in Athens, she was there, calling with updates and with support. Katie passed away in 2010 at the age of 97. Katie was a special once-in-a-lifetime friend that enriched many lives. She has extended family all over the country. My family is just one fragment of her extended family. My hope is that we all share in a special once-in-a-lifetime acquaintance that has enriched our lives and given us more than we can ever repay. Yeah. Beautiful. Good job, Mom. So I thought